Alright, it's been a while since I've made a video, but it was mainly because I was a bit busy these past few days, and my PC also ran into an issue which prevents it from playing online games specifically. I don't know why, I don't know what to do. Please send help. But anyways, we are here to talk about Code Vein, and today I'm bringing to you an interesting topic, which is the kind of development history of Code Vein, and it goes back into 2017, 2 years ago. So Code Vein in 2017, how was it? Man, it was pretty bad, I gotta admit. The game was very slow, pretty boring, I would say, and probably too early in development to be shown at the time, and yet shown. Yeah, thanks Bandai Namco. Oh, I'm talking here for the majority of people, of course, because in my case, I was super excited about it. Even when they first revealed the first trailer and people didn't really react to it, I was super excited about the game. So yeah, but aside of that, the state of the game was really terrible, I've gotta admit. It was poorly optimized, basic attack animations were slow, and it just looked terrible in general. Also, you would notice that all of the gifts used to have a long casting time, no matter what gift it was. There was also this really big issue with the particle effects, which were a little bit too flashy. Drain attacks also used to be different. If you remember well, you didn't have auto drain attacks after a backstab or parry or even a launch attack. It was kind of bad and kind of slow. It was slowing down the pace of the combat a little bit. But something that I've noticed was shooting with a bayonet used to cost high core, of course, but also stamina. So it was a pretty bad thing as well. The Queen's Knight's sound effects caused, not sound effects, but the special effects, the visual effects, particle effects of the Queen's Knight used to cause a massive frame drop, if some of you remember that. Also, people reported that the game controls were very clunky at the time, and someone even said that it was as bad as controlling a boat. So overall, back in 2017, Code Vein was a game that had, I would say, an interesting concept, but looking at the gameplay, it wasn't promising at all. It looked like a total mess in my opinion, but I was still excited about it. And I'll be honest with you, even though I was super excited about the game, I always have this kind of weird thought process where even though I like something, like somewhere in my head, I have to question what I like. I have to really think about it twice and be like, okay, what's good and what's bad about it? Because of that thought process, I started making these rant videos about Code Vein. So the first rant video was born at that time because I had this vision in my head, this type of thought process that caused me to question Code Vein. And yes, because a lot of people dislike the game as well, I had to see the issues that they were talking about. And at the time, it wasn't just about the people who, in North America. Even in Japan, people were not happy at all. I used to look to forums and stuff like that, and blogs, websites, just to see what people were thinking about the game. So yeah, it was enough to let me know that even the Japanese people were not happy at all with the way the game was. And there were a few interviews for the developers at the time where it was mentioned that people were concerned about the speed in the game. And the response to that was pretty much, oh, you can get a higher action speed for your character as you level them up. But was that really true? I don't think so. I feel like they didn't know how to deal with that issue, and I feel like they thought that it was a good thing for Code Vein to be a slow game. I don't know. Maybe that's how it was. I don't know. I'm just speculating here, just theories, but I don't think they really knew what to do about the speed for the game. So yeah, my rant video was pretty much about a lot of things like that. It was also about a lot of the things I've been mentioning, like drain attacks, like the slow casting time of the gifts, and a few missing mechanics, which we're going to talk about very soon, because we are moving forward to March 20. Wait, was it March 2018? Let me see. Yeah, March 2018. So in March 2018, what happened? Well, it was the biggest moment for Code Vein, because in March 2018 we had a build called Code Vein Second Blood version. In 2017 it was Code Vein First Blood version. So these builds are pretty much demos that people got to play at events and stuff. But yeah, in March 2018 we had the Second Blood version, and it was a pure miracle. I cannot tell you how incredible it was, because it was just a bunch of improvements everywhere. It was insane. So the first thing that really shocked me, I'll be honest, it was the one-hand sword basic attack. Honestly, that was sick. It was way faster than what we used to see in 2017. Like, they made a huge improvement with the one-hand sword. It was sick, and for a moment I thought it was all the weapons, but it was mainly for the one-hand sword. Though it seems like they changed a few controls for the heavy weapon as well. But aside of that, you also had the second thing that made me almost fall off my chair. They added the combo drain. Yes, because the combo drain was in the first build. Like, the combo drain, you know what it is? It's that thing that you can do right after using any sort of attack with any weapon. Like, you can just chain drain attack after any attack of your character. So that was really awesome, and I really wanted that to happen. Like, in my rant video I was talking about some sort of mechanic, some sort of quick drain mechanic that was needed. Third thing, well, they removed the casting time on most of the gifts, and they also changed some of the casting animations for some of them. So that was really cool as well. I thought that was awesome. It made the game so much faster. Now, aside of that, they also added the drain attacks the way we know them now. So they went from being manual to automatic. Like, as soon as you stun an enemy, bam, it's a backstab. As soon as you parry them, they get stunned, bam, riposte. There you go. So that was really awesome. It made the game so much faster than before. They also toned down a lot of the particle effects. Like, so a lot of them were severely toned down, especially for the Queen's Knight. They were made a lot more cleaner. They were much better, and they didn't affect the performance of the game anymore at that time. So that was awesome. That was an awesome change as well. Overall, it was an awesome build. Like, second build, man, it was awesome. But you know, it was also the build that was playable at PAX 2018, and if only the rest of 2018 was just that good. Man, we had to deal with a bunch of story spoilers, trailers everywhere, articles everywhere, and screenshots. Man, 800 screenshots this game had up to this point, if not more. But because of all these things, a lot of people got fed up with Code Vein very fast. So fast forward to E3 2018, they revealed Code Vein Third Blood version. My god, it was a disappointment. Not because it was trash necessarily, like, it had all the new things, it was showing new blood codes that we could play around with. It was also showing a new area, a new boss, new enemies, and all that stuff. It was very nice, but it was extremely disappointing in my opinion, because there was nothing new. It was pretty much the Second Blood version with more content into it. It was just the same build, but they just added more content, and they didn't really change anything in terms of mechanics, in terms of UI, in terms of like anything that was outside of content, you know. So I was not happy with the build for that reason, and because of that, well, I made my second rant video on Code Vein, and I was really upset in that video. Like, I think a lot of people can tell I was rambling a lot in that video, but it was a nice video. A lot of people didn't agree with what I said at the time, but I was pretty mad, and I even said that Code Vein wasn't ready for a release in 2018 because of the state it was in during that time. And guess what happened? A month later, the game gets delayed. Really unbelievable. Man, they should pay me, man. I'm pretty sure at this point I should have a job at Bandai Namco. But anyways, finally, the last thing that we saw in 2018, well, it wasn't a delay. It was actually a build of Code Vein that was playable in China, I think, at some event where they finally revealed EO as a partner for the very first time. So I watched it with close to no expectation, and I was right, because once again it was nothing. It was once again the same second build but more content, pretty sad in my opinion. So 2019, the wait was so long. It was so freaking long, and because from 2017 to the entire year of 2018, I was begging for this game. I was begging for this game to have a freaking demo. And man, I really wanted to play. I really wanted to play this whole time because I wanted to give the best feedback possible. And a lot of people also wanted to give feedback. A lot of people wanted to try out the game, see how it was. And even the developers said that they wanted feedback from the players. So why didn't they just make the freaking demo? Man, but yeah, a new version of Code Vein plus a network test were all announced in was it May? Well, yeah, it was May 2019. That was awesome. So for the new build itself, that was in 2019. The first change is how they actually changed the scenery of the first cutscene, where you wake up to EO. And back in the days, it used to be at sunset, but yeah, in this new build, it was actually nighttime. So that was kind of interesting, I think. In terms of the gameplay, they added a minimap and kind of a discovery mechanic, to it. So like the little mistles that you have to clear out, like clear the miasma to get more vision on your minimap. So in terms of combat, they added in-game combat music. That was one of the nicest things they have added, because I was kind of mad at Code Vein because they had this weak ambience and they were trying to copy Dark Souls, and I was just like, man, just don't do that, just do your own thing. God damn it. And they finally added a in-game combat music. I was really happy about that. They also, like, the biggest addition to the combat Code Vein was the skill tree gifts. So the skill tree gifts are pretty much, the melee gifts that we know now, and that have a lot of utility actually today. So they didn't exist in 2018. There was no sign of them existing, and I wouldn't see the reason why they would not show them at all in screenshots, in trailers, in playable builds. No, nothing. They just never existed in the first place. They were just never there. So they were added in 2019 with the delay, and that was a really nice thing. Next thing was they gave new moves to enemies. One of my complaints was actually that the enemies were too inactive in combat. They weren't aggressive enough, and I'm glad they added new moves for the enemies so that they could put more pressure to the players. Like you see the big white ant eaters in the game, they didn't use to jump you. Like they didn't use to have this leap attack to put pressure on you when you were at a certain distance. And now they do have this move, so that was really cool. They also added a gray filter, the gray filter when your health is low. So it was all good stuff. It was all a bunch of great stuff, and at the same time, it wasn't that much. It was just a few little changes, but it was such a big deal because of the network test. And because overall the main point of this build was to give people an idea of the experience of Code Vein and what it was going to be like. More importantly, we also got to mess with the character creation. That was one of the greatest thing ever. And not only we got to play with the character creator, we also got to use the class system. We got to learn how it worked. and that was freaking fantastic. And finally, here we are with the full game in our hands. But now guess what? In the full game itself, they also made some changes to the story and the characters. First of all, this is just a big theory of mine, but I'm 99% sure this is the truth. They changed the starting point of the story. So here's how it goes. Because think about it, in the fourth trailer of Code Vein, there was a cinematic where they were showing the war against the Queen, and the character saying, "Don't let your heart, don't get stabbed in the heart, or let you die forever," stuff like that. So there was this screenshot, and not this screenshot, but there was this cinematic, and that cutscene actually was already teased way before the fourth trailer. It was teased in a screenshot where they were showing revenants getting stabbed by lusts in the heart, and they were using that specific screenshot to say to kind of explain how it works, like how revenants can die forever if they get stabbed in the heart. So it was all that cutscene, and guess what happened to it? It was removed, but not only it was removed, it kept the voice acting for that part, and it just changed it to a memory part. So that was really interesting at first when I saw that first, because I knew what it was. But that's not all. As soon as we're done exploring the memories, our character wakes up, and then gets given a document to fill by Karen, and where we have to put in our infos and all that stuff. And at that time, I realized that it was kind of a point where we were supposed to create our character, maybe. So we would create our character, we enter our name, and then as soon as we like our name and code name, and as soon as we confirm that, man, we give back the document to Karen, and then that's the part where our character like raises their head slowly with a camera angle that's really screaming, "Hey, there it is, there's your character that you created," and all. And that's also a little bit of a God Eater 3 resemblance, because in God Eater 3, when you're like, the first thing that you see is your character looking at stuff in first person, but then raises their head in the exact same camera angle as Code Vein. Exact same thing, the exact same scene that you will see in God Eater and Code Vein. Now, I know that God Eater 3 wasn't made by the same devs, but like I said, the influence stays, it didn't go away. So maybe they had a word on it, maybe something happened for that. You also have some changes in the character interactions. For example, Yakumo. Before the full game, Yakumo was not supposed to be much of a bro type character, you know, like he wasn't supposed to be your bro. He would also point a gun at the main character, so that was an interesting part. And until you had to go through some sort of little stuff with him, and things happen and all, then he would finally become a bro with you, you know, he would become your friend. But until then, he was kind of a very skeptical character. He didn't like you very much. And you would notice also that the first thing that Yakumo says to you, the very first thing that says to you when you see Yakumo in the home base is, "Oh, Louis put his head in some kind of trouble again," and stuff like that. And it's like, "If you try something, I'll keep my eyes on you," and stuff like that. You know, things like that, just to say that he's not trusting you, right? But anyways, moving on, you also have Jack and Eva that had a lot of changes as well. So first of all, it is said that they are supposed to be part of an opposing faction. Jack is also described as a much more closer character to your character, like to our character, as if like we were really close friends or something. And then Eva, well, I'll actually show you. There's literally a whole section where they talk about it, where they say Eva is a female revenant indebted to Jack for saving her life. She and the protagonist have conflicting viewpoints, but you will fight alongside her. Also, There was something else that was said about Jack and Eva. They said that we would be able to partner with them during some special event. So it seems like they were planning some stuff with Jack and Eva at first, but then it was a bit, it was removed as well, it was shafted from the game. Outside of that, there are also a few little things that we gotta touch on, and they are kind of behind the scene type of stuff, and they were kind of showing the first design for Louis. He kind of looked like he was looking very young. I don't know if they really wanted characters to be really young in this game, but he kind of looked like a teenager or something. Also, you had early concepts of the blood veils. Like they said that they wanted the blood veils at first to look more organic. You can see them here; they're kind of pretty organic, right? Like they're not really, they're definitely not the way we know them today. Finally, there was also a concept art of the invading executioner, because before she had a certain design, she looked more monstrous. She looked less like, hot, I would say. So yeah, she wasn't even supposed to be an exotic dancer type of monster. And I thought that was just an interesting thing to look at, but there's probably more about this game that I missed a little bit. I don't know. I think that was the big stuff. That was the big idea of the video. So that's it for this video. I promised that I was going to make this video anyways. I had to do it, and I'm a bit late, unfortunately. Like I said, I was a bit busy trying to organize my stuff. Stuff happened. Like I said, my computer is it's gone. It's not gone. I can play a lot of games, but it's just online. I don't know what's going on with online games. But anyways, that's it for this video. There's a lot of things that has been going on. I was a bit worried for my channel. I was a bit disappointed with how my new videos were doing. I used to have like 2k views, 3k views. Until yesterday when I look at my videos stats, and I saw my network test, code vein, combat system explanation stuff. It's at 4k views. I'm like, wow, people have been actually watching that. Like the videos were stuck at like 110 views the whole time, and now it's at 4k views. So I'm really surprised, really glad a lot of people enjoyed that video. So thank you all so much for watching my stuff. I'm glad people are enjoying my content. Thank you all so much for watching. Follow me on Twitter, where I post a lot of good stuff, like these nice artworks that I do. Maybe I'm open for commissions, I don't know, but we'll see. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all for being nice to me and all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.